like I just said, like this is something that you've dreamt of, you've worked hard for. Uh, Go out and have fun, relax. It's football. You've been doing it all year. Now go out and seize the moment. Take advantage of this opportunity to really play hard for the guy next to you.
It's a massive time for Arizona State football as they take on the Texas Longhorns in the Peach Bowl in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. And big times mean big time guests, and that means honorary captain of your Arizona State Sun Devils this year, and of course starting quarterback for the 1996 Rose Bowl team, Heisman candidate, Pac-10, everything. The man, the myth, the legend, Jake Plummer, joining us here on PHNX Sun Devils. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for that intro. It's you find yourself doing fun stuff, and here I am with an opportunity, thanks to this team, to come out here in Atlanta and create a memory for myself with some of my old former teammates and some great fans that are here. In the last game, the last time they saw me play was in '96. So it's an exciting time for the whole Sun Devil Nation. And we're excited to be down here. And Atlanta's a great place to be right now.
So you represent ASU very heavy, of course. What does it mean to you, not only a former player, but a fan, to see a team that you can look at and say, man, this is a team that's reminiscent of the 1996 team? That's a very high standard to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's eliciting a lot of memories for a lot of people that were around during our little run there. I mean, we had a few seasons leading up to it that weren't the best, but that '96 season sure was full of a lot of memories. A lot of people remember that. Even though we lost that game, we were still one of the most highly respected teams to come through Arizona State history, even though there were some amazing teams, even a team that won the Peach Bowl back in 1970. So some great teams, some great coaches, some phenomenal players. This team has it going. They've been hot this year. They've been quiet behind the scenes, just steadily winning, doing their thing. And people are starting to kind of understand and not really believe yet, but wow, ASU's a fourth-ranked team. They get a bye. And while history is being made, here they are, at a very opportunistic time showing up. And I got to tip my hat to these coaches, especially Coach Dillingham and his whole staff, and then these players for just believing in each other and caring enough to go out and put forth the effort to really have a remarkable season thus far. And it's exciting to see what they'll do tomorrow against the Longhorns.
There are a couple of things that you said that evoked kind of like a fascination with me, where you talked about how this team's been quiet and they've been working behind the scenes. And then with Sam Leavitt specifically, he has now become a topic of conversation. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but he went out there and he said he feels like he's the better quarterback in this game and that he's going to prove it. And I'm wondering, from your perspective, for a quarterback, you have to have this almost inhuman amount of confidence to feel like you can go out there and win any game. How do you balance that with being down to earth, staying humble, and preparing for your opponent as well?
Those are just words. And if he feels inclined to say those kind of things, hey, step up and show us. You've been doing it all year. There's no reason why I don't see him going out and playing like he has, with the kind of a fearless gunslinger mentality. He's going to make some big throws. He's also going to make some plays off the cuff that we didn't know he was going to make. And I think that's a real big difference maker, especially for this whole season for that team, is his ability back there to escape pressure, to elongate the play and make something positive out of what could have been a negative play. Add that with Cam Skattebo and his effort and his running style. You got a couple guys on offense now that are really the leaders of this team that go out there 100% and play hard. When he says those words, it's his confidence, and it's not being cocky. It's just him saying, hey, I believe in myself. I've got to here, and I feel like I'm the better quarterback. We'll find out. When you say those things, you definitely put a little bit of pressure on yourself to step up and do it. But I don't think he's the kind of kid that shies away from anything right now. I mean, he's had a good season thus far. He's playing a very talented, tough Texas defense. But he's confident in his coaches and his guys around him. And when players hear you talk like that, it takes the pressure off of everybody else. And now it's kind of on him, but it was going to be on him anyway. He's a quarterback. All eyes on the quarterback. And so far this year, he's stepped up. Now he's putting himself in a position to have to step up again. And, that's the fun part of this, is seeing what happens tomorrow.
And Kenny even mentioned he's never going to stop his guys from saying how they feel. And that self belief is what powered them when nobody else believed in them. He mentioned it with Sam. And of course, he also brought it up when it came to Cam Skattebo, who's starting to be a little bit more vocal about his place among running backs in college football and how he feels. From your perspective, as somebody who played, how much does it help both of those players, the quarterback and the running back, to have a player like them in the backfield, like Sam benefiting from Cam and vice versa?
Yeah, it's huge. The energy they bring not only to the game on game day, but to practice, to the way they approach life, to how they carry themselves. They're tone setters. They don't just show up and go 100% when it's time and the cameras are on. They're doing it in the time we don't see them, and that's a quiet confidence. And after so long, you don't like to get overlooked and not be disrespected, but just not respected and not getting that attention that you really deserve. Skattebo is one of the best running backs I've seen play the game. I mean, in his whole well-rounded offensive way he plays, not just running the ball and the punishment he lays down, but his blocking and pass blocking, his hands. He's got an amazing ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's not just a downhill bruiser, hit you in the face runner. He's got the whole package. And I think that's what he's saying is I feel like confident in myself that I'm the best player, best running back in the country. And what he's done is shown us that he is damn good. Now, saying that and going vocal, again, like I said, you just put it out there to put a target so that there'll be somebody to say, oh, look, you're not. But they don't care. Whatever they do, whatever happens against Texas, they've had a remarkable season. I'm proud of them, along with everyone else that wears the maroon and gold. They're really proud of these guys for giving us something that shows that these guys care about each other, that they care wearing that uniform, that they're going out there with their heart and soul, and they're doing what their coaches put them in position to do, and that's play ball with passion, with fire, and see what happens. And that's why the beauty of this game is, they're still underdogs, and that's okay. Because, picked last in the Big 12, and here they are making history, not only in college football, but for Arizona State with this moment in time. It's very an opportunistic moment for them to be representing Sparky and the Forks and ASU in really a history-making process of having a playoff for the national title.
You mentioned Coach Dillingham. Obviously, everybody immensely proud with what he's built here, and he'll never take full credit for it, as he didn't at Peach Bowl media availability. But he's definitely unlocked something with this team as far as letting them be themselves, letting the players be the players. How does that translate to on-field success? Because I know that we're seeing it from a macro scale, but from a player's perspective, knowing that you can turn to your coach and be 100% yourself, how does that make you feel on the field?
No, it's great because a coach that knows what he's doing will give you all the tools you need. But at some point, the players have to really step up. And as Bruce Snyder always said, coaches coach, players play, janitors janitor, trainers train. That do your job, do what you know how to do. And, I can think back to the year prior to our big run in '96. We formed something called a leadership council, and it was every positionally on the team, one person was the captain of that position. So we handled our own internal affairs as quarterbacks. The tight ends did the same thing. Steve Bush was the guy there for those guys. And we had our own little self-monitoring system where we took it upon ourselves to be adults in this whole thing. Even though we're young kids, we're in college. At our time, all we had to balance was going to school, staying eligible, and playing ball and taking care of that. We didn't have the money. We didn't have the offers. We didn't have the marketing. We didn't have the social media. So these kids now, there's more important things they got to continue to do outside of the game that we didn't have to manage. But when you have a coach that lets you be yourself, that lets you go out and have that fire, and he fuels that passion, that makes it fun to go out on the field because, you're putting yourself in a position now with everybody believing and using and believing in that same ethos to go out and not just play football, but play because you love the guy next to you. And these are moments that will go by so fast. Kenny's done a really great job being consistent in that message. And he brings the energy, and you can see that, infectious passion and excitement for the game come out of his players. And it hasn't been that way always since our time in '96. There's been some flashes, but here we are. We got a chance to really make history, and I'm excited to be here, and definitely proud to be a Sun Devil right now.
I think a lot of people share how you feel, and we'll get to, because you mentioned about how it's been flashes before. This feels real, it feels more sustainable, but of course you have to get through January 1st, and a Texas team that a lot of people have as favorites, including the odds makers, the people covering the sport. But for ASU fans, they're kind of drawing on what you mentioned, that passion, that excitement, the ability to play for your team. When it comes to Texas specifically, how do you diagnose a team with that much talent? How do you go in preparing for a team where it feels like at every position they can make a big play?
Yeah, I haven't watched Texas at all this year, to be honest with you. I'm a fan of Sun Devils, and I watch them. I know that Texas is going to have talent. I've done a little bit of research and heard the words coming through, and I mean, they were ranked number one at some point this year, I believe, and they got talent. Of course they do. It's Texas. It's a long, storied program with a history of success. So they're going to get all the big recruits. They're going to have a lot of great players, and hey, that's good. We got some great players also that left other big programs to come play at ASU. So we're not too far from that level. It's now just on paper. You burn that paper, because when you step on the gridiron, it doesn't matter anymore. It comes down to heart and soul, and we'll see. If we get outplayed and dominated by this team, then hey, we got a barometer on and understanding of where we need to go as a program. But I don't believe that's going to happen. I really think these kids are ready to compete. They're confident. They're quiet. They've put in the work. They've got some rest. They're ready to come out here, and hopefully they have that edge that they left with after the Big 12 championship. Because after a long period of time of not playing, you got to kickstart that engine again and get back out there. But I feel like they're leaders in the positions they have. These guys are ready to go out and continue to show people, hey, you can doubt us, but this is what we believe in. And all the fans do the same thing. And regardless of whatever happens, I'm proud of this program, and I'm excited. I've always been a supporter and tried to help and do what I can do from my position. But I'm really excited and proud that this team has put out a lot of heart and soul and effort that makes you want to turn the TV on, makes you want to root for these guys. And like I said, win or lose, it's been a really remarkable year at a huge moment in time when the portal's open and there's players that are looking to transfer and see where to go. I mean, what a great place to play if you want to come play in the sunshine and on real grass. Players, I've been saying it today in a lot of interviews, you come to ASU, you're going to get grass stains on your uniforms and play on a surface that's kind to your body and in one of the best, fastest playing surfaces in the country. So, think twice about going to some of these other schools, because I think ASU is ready to continue this success and get the support they need from the Valley and alums like myself to continue this and not just be a flash in the pan.
So as a fan, let me speak to Jake Plummer, the fan of Arizona State football, a Sun Devil for lifer. So many players on this team, key players committing to return next season under Kenny. What does that mean to you as somebody who has put so much of their heart and their soul into loving ASU, to see these players feel the same way and buck the trend of modern college athletics?
It's awesome. It really is what you hope for. Guys playing for the right reasons, knowing that they're building something special, and if they jump ship to try to go do something else somewhere else, you're missing that opportunity to form bonds that will last a lifetime. I came from the College Hall of Fame last night to my hotel, stepped out of the car and turned around and looked over, and there's Terry Battle. And it was like, I mean, we were just like two magnets, just boom, and like hugged each other and laughed, and like just, it feels so good to see him, to hug him, to give him some love, and that was formed back when we were together for years, putting the work in, committing to one another, committing to being a Sun Devil, and understanding like there's something special happening here, and it's worth putting in that work. And so I love to hear that. I love to see guys doing it for the right reasons, because as money keeps becoming an issue and NIL and all this, don't forget it's a long play for these kids now. It's not just, hey, do it while you can while you're a Sun Devil, but what they're doing and the memories they're forming, this team will never be forgotten. And if you're part of this team, you'll have a place to come back to, a home place to call home forever. Whether you're Jake Plummer, starting quarterback, Hall of Famer, Heisman candidate, my name's on the stadium, or you're a third string, second string D lineman, O lineman, come back to this institution because you gave your time up to help this program transcend and get to now. And so that's what Kenny, I think, is the beautiful thing, is he's really trying to build that tradition, bring back the past so that we can be here now in the present, let these guys know and be a part of it, and then plan to have success that runs a long time down the future. And got to love what he's doing as a Tempe born and raised kid that was going to the games wearing my jersey. Here he is in his dream job, and he doesn't want to go anywhere else. And if he needs to be paid more, then step up and pay him, keep him around, because I think what he's doing is special, and he's got that fire and passion that you want to see.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being so generous with your time. I have two more questions for you. One more about just the game, and then the other one big picture. And about this game specifically, kind of lost in the mix of all of this, is ASU still presumably down wide receiver number one, not just on their team, but at certain points playing like the best wide receiver in the Big 12 in Jordan Tyson. We saw them step up against Iowa State. How hard is it to keep that next man up mentality to the point where it felt like Jordan Tyson was the mainstay for Sam Leavitt and for Marcus Arroyo, to you go up in the biggest game of the season and now you don't have that person to rely upon?
Yeah, I mean, they got it done in the Big 12 championship. There are other guys that stepped up and made some plays, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that little extra effort, but it's real easy to call on that when you're playing next to Cam Skattebo and Sam Leavitt, guys that put in that extra effort every single play. You give the ball to Scat, and it's 100% effort every single time. You tell him to pass block, he's going to do it 100% effort. Sam's remarkable in the pocket and also escaping and making plays out of what could be negative plays, turning them into positives. So it's easy when you're guys that are the mainstays on that offense doing that. When you're now called upon, when you lose your number one receiver, the other guys stepped up. Xavier Gilroy was huge, a guy who's been there for a while. He stepped up in the game in the Big 12 championship, and there's going to someone else and more guys need to do the same thing. But this is a creative staff, not only defensively, what Ward's doing as a DC. It's awesome. That defense flies to the ball. They play together. There's no superstar names on that defense. It's just a bunch of guys playing their asses off for each other. And on offense, Arroyo's been doing a great job of working the ball around, getting guys open, being creative on getting these guys into space. And you can't replace a kid like Tyson. He's dynamic. He really was amazing what he was getting done. But that opens the door for someone else that has talent, that has yet to be given that opportunity to step up and do something on a big stage. And, I expect nothing but the same we saw in the Big 12 game, is guys stepping up when they need to.
Honorary ASU captain for the Peach Bowl, Jake Plummer. I'm going to ask you to tap into that at the end of this interview right here. I want you to put in the mind state you're speaking to the team. You're sending your message to the number 4 seed in the college football playoffs before they go and play as 14-point underdogs against a Texas team that everybody's putting their money on. What does Jake Plummer have to say to those Arizona State Sun Devils?
Man, have fun. Number one, have fun. Enjoy this. This is a time of your life that will go by so fast. You'll look back and go, "Whoa, I did that." And look around beside you. Who the guys next to you are, and realize, like I just said, like this is something that you've dreamt of. You've worked hard for. Go out and have fun. Relax. It's football. You've been doing it all year. Now go out and seize the moment. Take advantage of this opportunity to really play hard for the guy next to you. No matter what the score is, go out there and play like a Sun Devil and do it for the guy next to you, because this is such a fast, fleeting time with these kids. They're young, and we're 26, 27 years removed from the Rose Bowl, and wow, that time went by fast when I was playing at ASU. So just remember, this is a special moment. It's going to be, remembered by so many people. Go out there and show us what you got. Play for the guy next to you. That's all you got to do.
Where can Sun Devil fans find you now, keep up with you, your latest endeavors beyond football?
Yeah, check us out at GetUmbo, GETUMBO. Go to getumbo.com. Check us out. I'm in the health and wellness industry with functional mushrooms. You mentioned earlier before about the bars. They're yummy. We're working with people to try to help them, feel better, have more energy, rest better, recover better through the use of nature, natural intelligence, the mushrooms. And yeah, that's what I'm up to. We got a cool promotion though too for Sun Devil fans. If you tag us on Instagram, we're having some giveaways, some stuff I'm gonna find down here while I'm down in Atlanta. So that's what I'm doing. That and raising a few kids and just really enjoying life, taking advantage of opportunities like this to come be the honorary captain. I'm honored to come and represent my guys that aren't here, that team from '96. When I walk out there, in spirit with me will be Pat Thompson, Shannon Kelly, Steve Bush, Zach Romero, Jason Verdugo, all these guys that I played ball with for 4 years. They're all going to be walking out there with me when I go represent ASU Sun Devils from the past as the honorary captain. So I'm honored and humbled and excited to see my Devils go out there and just play hard. I don't care win or lose. I want to see you put forth the effort that's warranted when you wear that jersey with PT 42 right there. Go out and represent, play hard for each other, and anything can happen. That's the beauty of this game.
Personal recommendation, getumbo.com. I've had it myself. Fantastic. I actually ate it on this very show. We appreciate you joining us, Jake, and everybody watching right now. Make sure you tune in. Pre-game show, watch along, post-game show, all on this channel. Nobody's covering your Sun Devils like we are here at PHNX. We appreciate all of you and everybody who's been joining the party as of late. Make sure you stick around because it ain't just a flash in the pan. Thanks, Jake.
Hey, Devils 15 too for a little discount.
Oh, Devils 15, GATUMBO.com.
Devils 15,
check it out.
Check it out. It's worth it. Hey, thank you for the time. I appreciate it. Go Devils.
Go Devs.